Before I present, I'd just like to say like the background is like the audio player is in this part is like the visual part, and then in the background is like I was trying to sing the song that Pete was saying to Kay, and like when she had the spiritual connection. So just letting you know, but like the audio quality might have got a bit distorted.
Celebrate, celebrate. From this heavenly kingdom, we celebrate the freedom that carried us far away. On that fateful, blessed day, from heaven we observe the change, the system that was so strange. Let's celebrate our dream, let's celebrate our love, let's celebrate our living, let's celebrate our dead, let's celebrate our freedom. Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. South Africa's policy in disbelief created such a complicated grief. Our spirits began haunting a government that was daunting. We celebrate a land that's free, a land that belongs to you and me. Let's celebrate our dream, let's celebrate our love, let's celebrate our living, let's celebrate our dream, let's celebrate our freedom. Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. Our emotions run high in joy we want to cry. From our rainbow nation, from our heavenly station, we reached out to shake your hand. God bless our beloved land. Let's celebrate our dream, let's celebrate our love, let's celebrate our living, let's celebrate our dead, let's celebrate our freedom. Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. From this heavenly kingdom, we celebrate the freedom that carried us far away. On that fateful, blessed day, from heaven we observe the change, a system that was so strange. Let's celebrate our dream, let's celebrate our love, let's celebrate our living, let's celebrate our dead, let's celebrate our freedom. Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. South Africa's policy in disbelief created such a complicated grief. Our spirits began haunting a government that was daunting. We celebrate a land that's free, a land that belongs to you and me. Let's celebrate our dream, let's celebrate our love, let's celebrate our living, let's celebrate our dream, let's celebrate our freedom. Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. Our emotions run high in joy we want to cry. From our rainbow nation, from our heavenly station, we reached out to shake your hand. God bless our beloved land. Let's celebrate our dream, let's celebrate our love, let's celebrate our living, let's celebrate our dead, let's celebrate our freedom. Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. From this heavenly kingdom, we celebrate.
Okay, so basically that power tune showed like almost all the key events of the novel, but like the main audio part, like let's celebrate our dream, let's celebrate our love, was taken from that passage what Pierre said at the end. Basically that background song was set in the spiritual like realm, and it basically gave a spiritual connection between Pete and Kay, and it was supposed to symbolize like Pete was always be with her, and then it's kind of giving like a message of peace at the end because it was saying all South Africa was united, and then that Kay herself was seeing like all her ancestors as well as both like a white person like Pete and like black people. She was saying there's Zulu drummers both in her dream, so she think united South Africa, and this occurred like right after she found out apartheid ended in South Africa. The same night she had this dream, as well. Like the message, like the entire novel, it was talking about conflict and like fighting and like riots and all this stuff, all this negative emotion. But this song was at the end, it was supposed to give like a kind of like a peaceful message and like a positive theme and like a new beginning. The setting takes place in, like the entire book takes place in the apartheid era South Africa, and mainly focuses in the city of Durban, the ethnic university where the riots happened, Johannesburg, where she stopped for like a few days, and then after Pretoria, where like she was a governess. Additionally, the last 3 chapters happened in Toronto after she got sick and tired of South Africa and the apartheid area. Based on like observations from the book, I believe this was set in like the late 80s until February 2nd, 1990, because you see her grow up a bit from the last year of high school up till the university, so you know it encompasses a few years. Additionally, you know the specific date, February 2nd, 1990, is mentioned in the book, and the apartheid era actually lasted from 1948 until 1994. There's two main types of conflict in the book. There's man versus society and man versus man. Basically, the first example of man versus society was K and P both struggling against the Immortality Act, which is an example of man versus society, is because the Immortality Act was put by the government to like stop interracial relationships. Additionally, another example of man versus society was when Nelly and the Shireen girl, both these girls, they were in a relationship with men outside of their class or outside of their religion, and then due to the social class system, they had to end their relationships. So this is an example of them struggling against the social class system, is an example of this. Additionally, man versus man happened several times. For example, when the police beat up Pete, and also when the AWB attacked Anwar. Lastly, I want to talk about the main theme of an era of error was racism and discrimination. This book shows the struggle of the characters against the apartheid regime, which is a regime of racial segregation. And the secondary theme was love, basically forbidden love, and that love has no colors, because you see a lot of times, like several examples in the book, including the main character, you see them having relationships with people outside their religion or ethnicity. And additionally, finally, another like few themes from the book were freedom and fear, as you see the South Africans fighting for their freedom, and you also see them being fearful of the government as the government becomes increasingly authoritarian. And that is it.